Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Cooking with the Cripple. I'm your host, the Cripple, and today we're going to be making kind of a breakfasty hash. So what you want to do is you want to get a potato first, and you want to cut it into, I'd say that's about an inch wedges like this, and then you want to cut those wedges into strips like this. And they're even shorter, but they're not coming apart for some reason. But go ahead and do that right now, and I'm gonna do the same. And then what you're gonna do after you cut the strips is you're gonna cut them into cubes. You're gonna have a lot of potato, but I'm making this for the next couple of days, so if you come out with more than you need or more than you want, just have it for leftovers. So we're gonna cut this into, don't talk with the knife, put that down. Stupid. But we're gonna cut this, and then if you come out with more than you need for any sort of food related stuff, just save it for next time. Oh, and another reason why I haven't been posting for a long time is because I've been working on something for my youth pastor. Pastor, I don't know. But I've made this staff. So that's a reason why I decided to do the grand tour video instead of cooking, because it's a lot simpler and easier. But anyways, we're gonna get to cutting, and then we'll get to the rest of it. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, now that we've got... Hold on, I'll be right back. I forgot something. There we go. Now that we've got them all cut into strips, we're going to cut them into cubes. And then, once we get them cut into cubes, we're going to work on the meat portion of this... Sorry, I had to laugh at myself for a minute. But, we're going to work on the meat portion of the hash, which technically does contain the eggs, but you don't really do anything to the eggs. You just make scrambled eggs, and then you're done with the egg portion. But I'm going to try and squeeze one more cut out of that. But, this is all you really do. But we're going to work on the meat portion after we get this all done, and then we're going to start cooking. So this is once again, this is a really simple recipe to make. I don't like doing the extravagant, like, oh, I made a puree, da 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 da. I like to just I made a burger. But I'll see you guys when I get these all diced up, I think is the word I'm looking for, but I'm not quite sure. So I'll see you in a minute. Alright, now that we've got our, what are these called? Potato cubes all diced up, we're going to toss them with some light salt, and then move on to the meat portion. So go ahead and do that, and I will get the meat. Alright, so we've got our smoked sausage here, and we're just going to treat it the same way we treated the wedges. We're going to cut it up and then dice it up a little bit, and if not, I'll just cut it up into wedges. So here we go. And the good thing about this thing is you can start on both ends and cut simultaneously. So go ahead and do that. If you have beef smoked sausage, that's what it's called, right? I'll check the wrapping. But we're going to cut this up, and then we're going to basically be done with this portion. So I'll see you guys in a hot minute. Alright, as you can see, we're all done with the sausage. So we're going to take it over to the stove, and then we're going to prepare the eggs. So I'll see you over at the stove. If I can push the button. Alright, now that we've got everything assembled, it is time to preheat the pan. And I've decided to switch to a healthier alternative to like olive oil and stuff, so I'm using coconut oil. And I know it looks more like lard, which is what I thought originally, but you're going to take some of that. You're going to take about, if it'll cooperate with you, about that much, and this is a very small spoon. Dump it right into the pan, and then just chuck that backwards. I'm sorry, but I have fun in the kitchen. But, we're going to let that heat up, and then we're going to add in the potatoes, then the meat, and finally the eggs. The eggs are going to be kind of like the outer layer of the thing. So, and also, if you see me moving a bit slower, it's because I'm developing a callus on my right index finger, which is my dominant finger. So, sorry if I'm moving a bit slower. But we're going to let this heat up, and then we're going to get cooking. Alrighty. Now that that's going, we're going to add in our potatoes first, followed by the meat, and finally the eggs. Ow! It's kind of hot. But don't be afraid to get your hands a little dirty when cooking, because you can always just wash them. So we're going to let that cook, and then you're going to add in the meat. And the reason why it's in that order is because you kind of want the potatoes and the meat to marinate together, or I think that's the right word. I don't know if that's the right word, but feel free to correct me in the comments if that's not the right word that I'm looking for. But you kind of want them to mesh together, and then you're basically doing what you do with burger. You're basically just browning these, cooking them a little bit, and then you're going to cook the meat the same way, and that'll give the eggs something to do, meaning it'll give the eggs a different flavor than it would if you just cooked it with regular seasoning and stuff. And I just seasoned this with dill and paprika. So I'm not going to tell you exactly how much I used, because you might like a little less and somebody else might like a little more. So it's basically however you like to prepare your food. So we're going to let this brown a little bit, and then we're going to add in the meat. So I'll see you in probably 2 to 3 minutes, but I'll see you in a hot second. Alright, now this is what your potatoes should look like. Notice they're slightly darker. And I'm going to move you guys off of the stove. But now it's time to add in the meat. And just toss it in. I think I'm going to use a little too much, but that's okay. I'm going to use about half right now, because I don't think I have the room for in the pan. So there we go. So you want to add in, as you can tell, half of your meat, and then just kind of swish it around to get the different flavors mixed in together. I just noticed how much I'm smiling, but that's good. But we're gonna let this cook together, and then we're gonna add in the eggs. See, that's the problem with me. I have brain farts all the time. I can't remember what I was gonna say. But we're gonna let this cook together, and you're gonna just stir it occasionally. I'm stirring it constantly because I want to make sure that I don't burn anything. But at the same time, it doesn't matter if you do. It won't affect anything. I mean, it'll taste a little burnt, but that's about it. So I'll see you guys in a minute when it's time to add in the eggs. Be safe. Do not be afraid to utilize timers, but I used mine to cook this for 2 more minutes, and I really wish that there was such a thing as smell-o-vision. One of you guys invent that, please. But we're going to stir one final time, and then we're going to add in the eggs, and then we're going to wait till the eggs cook, and then we're done. So this is a really simple thing to do in the morning, and it's just really easy. So we're done with that. Time to add in the eggs, and I'm just going to pour them right on top. This is kind of an experiment for me. Ow! This is kind of an experiment for me. But there we go. And that's basically what it's going to look like, I hope. Because this is an experimental dish for me, but you want to stir it a little bit so that way the egg doesn't really set, but at the same time it sets, if that makes any sort of sense whatsoever. But the eggs shouldn't take really that long to cook. Well, they will if you're having difficulty like I am. But once these are done... Oh, another thing, when you have eggs involved in the dish like this, you want to keep it constantly moving, so that way you're collecting the cooked eggs and then letting the uncooked eggs, well, cook. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to be done, and we're going to plate and go to the taste test table. So I will see you there. Alright, so now it is time to plate. And don't worry, I'm not going to eat all this. I couldn't eat all this if I wanted to. But we're going to scrape the bottom. And I'd say about... that much is good. And maybe a little more. There we go. There we go. And there we go. So we're going to set this off heat as quickly as humanly possible. And scare ourselves. And then I will see you guys over at the taste test table. Alright. So here we go. Here's the first taste. First I'm going to try the potatoes and the eggs. It's really good. The potatoes are nice and soft. The eggs are nice and fluffy. Now we try the meat portion. Portion. But it's really good. So if you guys wanted to do this, then you could send me pictures of your version of whatever you happen to use for seasonings and whatnot for the eggs and basically anything else. So go ahead and send me screenshots of, or pictures rather, of your version of this or any other version of the recipes that I've done. And this has been Cooking with the Cripple. I've been your host, the Cripple, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!